Hey guys, this is the one we've been waiting for. For the last 5 years, buying the base model iPhone felt like a compromise. You were basically telling yourself, I don't need the cool features, I just need an iPhone. You accepted the 60Hz screen, you accepted the older chip, you accepted the thicker bezels. But this year, with the iPhone 17, that feeling is completely gone. I'm going to say this right now. This phone makes the Pro version feel completely unnecessary for 95% of the people watching this video. If you buy this, you aren't settling. You're winning. You are getting the smart buy of 2025, and honestly, this is a phone that's ready for 2026, 2027, and beyond. Now before that, let me give you some context on my experience. I've been using this Lavender iPhone 17 for almost 2 months now. Full disclosure, my main daily driver is usually in an iPhone 17 Pro. That's my workhorse, but I've been running this 17 as my secondary daily driver, carrying it everywhere. And here is the honest truth, half the time, I forget which phone I'm holding. I remember reviewing the iPhone 13, 14, 15, and even 16, and just getting frustrated. I'd switch from my Pro phone to the base model for a review, and it felt like stepping back in time. The choppy scrolling, the slower animations, it was jarring. But with the 17, that gap has finally closed. Let's start with the first thing you notice, the design. This is the Lavender colorway, and honestly, it is stunning. It's subtle, not too punchy, just really clean. In the hand, it feels incredibly familiar yet refined. If you're coming from an iPhone 12, 13, or 14, you remember those sharp, boxy edges that kind of dug into your palm. Since the 15, Apple softened those edges, and on the 17, it feels perfect. It's that soft, contoured aerospace-grade aluminum that just sits nicely in the hand. Taking a quick tour around the frame, the layout basically adopts everything good from the last couple of years. You've got the action button up here, goodbye mute switch, we don't miss you, and on the bottom right you have the camera control button. It's great to see these features fully standardized across the lineup. Now they don't feel like gimmicks, they just feel like part of the iPhone experience. And of course on the bottom we have USB-C. But let's be totally honest for a second, since this is the base model, it's not the super fast Thunderbolt speed USB-C you get on the Pro models. Technically it's still limited to slower data transfer speeds. But here is the reality check. Does that actually matter? For 95% of you watching this, absolutely not. Unless you are a professional videographer manually transferring gigabytes of 4K ProRes footage to a MacBook via cable every single day, you will literally never notice the difference. For charging, for CarPlay, for connecting a generic accessory, it works perfectly. The speed limit only hurts the specific Pro workflow, and if you are doing that kind of work, you're probably buying the Pro phone anyway. For everyone else, it's just a convenient port that finally matches your iPad and laptop. And here is a detail that matters, the screen size. We've moved up from the standard 6.1 inches to 6.3 inches. Usually I'd complain that phones are getting too big, but because Apple has shaved the bezels down to razor thin lines, the physical footprint of the phone is barely different. It doesn't feel big, it just feels mostly screen. When you put this next to an iPhone 16, the 17 just looks modern. It makes the older models look dated instantly. But let's be real, a nice body is pointless if the screen isn't keeping up, and this is the headline feature. For the first time ever, the base iPhone gets ProMotion. We are talking a variable refresh rate that goes from 1 Hz all the way up to 120 Hz. If you have never used a high refresh rate screen, you might think, does it really matter? Yes, it matters. It changes everything. It's not just about gaming, it's about how the phone feels. When you swipe home, the animation is instant. When you scroll through Twitter or a long PDF, the text stays readable while it's moving. Coming from last year's iPhone 16, which was a great phone, don't get me wrong, the 60Hz limit made it feel artificially slow. It felt choppy. The iPhone 17 feels unlocked. It finally has the display speed to match the processor speed. Speaking of speed, let's talk about what's driving those pixels, the A19 chip. I'm usually not one to bore you with benchmarks, but I have to show you this because the numbers are actually kind of nuts. I threw Geekbench 6 on here just to see what we're working with, and honestly, it's ridiculous. On the single core, I'm seeing a score of 3,573, and when we look at multi-core, it cranks all the way up to 9,143. Then for the graphics, the metal GPU score, it's hitting a massive 37,286. To put that in perspective, this base model iPhone 17 is scoring higher than last year's iPhone 16 Pro Max. Let that sink in. The entry-level phone is literally beating last year's super flagship. I'm running iOS 26 on here, which introduces those new liquid glass animations. You know, the ones where the UI elements sort of morph and flow on a 60Hz screen? Those animations would look blurry. On this 120Hz display with the A19 chip, it is mesmerizing. Whether I'm multitasking, editing 4K clips, or playing AAA games, the phone handles it very well. It just chews through everything. It's overpowered, honestly, but that's exactly what you want if you plan to keep this phone for 4 or 5 years. Now let's pivot to the cameras. On the back, you've got the dual 48 megapixel setup. The main sensor and the ultra-wide are fantastic. The ultra-wide is sharper this year, which is great for landscapes, but let's be honest, the rear cameras are an incremental upgrade. They were great last year. They are slightly greater this year. The real fun is on the front. We have a new 18 megapixel front camera with a square sensor. Why does a square sensor matter? Because it lets you do something viral worthy. You can record landscape video while holding the phone vertically. It sounds simple, right? But think about how many times you wanted to capture a moment for your story, but you only had one hand free, or it felt awkward to hold the phone sideways. With the iPhone 17, you just hold it naturally, hit the toggle, and it uses the full width of that square sensor to crop a perfect 4K landscape video. It is so convenient. I guarantee every Android manufacturer is in a meeting right now trying to copy this feature. Okay, performance is great, but how about the battery? I've put about 35 cycles on this battery over almost 2 months. My health is obviously still at 100%, but in daily use, this thing is a tank. Because the screen can drop down to 1 Hz when you aren't touching it, thanks to the LTPO tech, it saves a ton of power. Even with heavy use, I'm talking navigation, camera testing, social media, I am finishing the day with 20% or 30% left. It's reliable. You stop looking for power outlets. So let's wrap this up. Why am I calling this the Pro Killer? Because the gap between this and the Pro model has basically evaporated. Yes, the Pro has a telephoto zoom lens. Yes, the Pro has a vapor chamber for extreme cooling. Yes, the Pro has ProRes video support. But do you need those if you just want a premium, fast, beautiful phone with an incredible screen and all-day battery? The iPhone 17 is it. If you are sitting there with an iPhone 11, 12, 13, or even a 15, this is the upgrade you have been waiting for. You get the USB-C, you get the ProMotion display, you get the performance that will last half a decade. Apple finally stopped gatekeeping the good features. It took them long enough, but the iPhone 17 gets everything right. It's the smart choice. Let me know in the comments, are you team base model this year or are you sticking with the Pro? I'm genuinely curious. If you like this video, you know what to do. Subscribe so you don't miss the full comparison coming next week. I'm Serdi Hadara, and I will see you in the next one.